You've seen this thing before, and in the video that I presented this in and got it running, I said that I probably was going to give it a little bit of a quick overhaul, repaint it, just so it doesn't look this shabby. And I've had a few comments of, well, why not preserve the patina and leave it the original way it is? And usually I'd be with you guys, but in this case, the paint job is so bad that each time I run it, something keeps flaking off, and it's just not nice to look at. So I'm going to not go crazy on this. I'm going to strip it all down, get the old paint off, clean up the metal parts, and do a few little modifications to make it a little bit neater and more long-lasting, give it a nice new base, and leave it at that. The reason why I didn't start that makeover right away was because the flywheel was stuck on the shaft, and now I had it soaked with penetrating oil for at least a week or two and preloaded with a bearing puller, and then with some very slight tapping and careful maneuvering I finally got it unstuck. And there we go, that's the whole thing taken down, simple as that. No real finesse here, no tricks in taking this apart. What I found very interesting is they used a separate cylinder which gets mounted into the housing here, so that you don't have any problems with getting this leak-proof here. Also, very interesting is the bearing arrangement here. These are, number one, they are ball bearings. And number two, these are actually self-aligning bearings. There's 2 per bearing, and as you can see, this outer ring can gyrate around the, well, what's the actual outer ring of the bearing. So they've built this whole contraption just to make sure that this bearing mounting spot doesn't cause any problems should it be, well, not perfectly in line. That's a whole damn lot of effort. I lost the footage of me painting basically the whole dang thing. All I've got is this flywheel here. I didn't want to ditch the entire video because of that, because, well, the result is quite presentable. So, yeah, you know how painting works. It's not much different what it looks like, whether it's a flywheel or any piece really. So, yeah, I'll just show you that. I've tried getting rid of some of the runout of the flywheel, but my lathe just isn't large enough to give some proper results. Praise be the 4-jaw chuck, which is the same size, but the jaws will come out to a far more unhealthy extent. I'm not going to skim the outside contour because the entire casting is warped, so it would still run out while the outside is running true. Instead, I'm going to chuck it up to run true and then remachine the inner bore, put a plug in it, re-drill it, re-ream it, and then it should run to some true-ish extent.
The hole is straight, true, round, to specified tolerance and finish.
Now it would have been nice if I had actually reamed this to 5 millimeters and not 6. So I left it at that and sanded all the pieces I wanted clean, and then put everything back together.
lane. The sunshine of your smile's no longer there. It looks like rain in cherry blossom lane. Your golden voice no longer fills the air. The rippling notes have left the old mill stream. There's nothing left for me but just a dream. There'd be no rain in cherry blossom lane if you were there to tell me that you cared.
Well, it already looks a lot more presentable, don't you think? Now, there is just two things left to complete this. Number one is the burner. I can recycle the cap on that one, clean it up, make it neat. But the tank is just too far gone. I've soldered these cracks here just to get this thing running in the last part, but the cracks, you know, they will just keep reappearing. The entire piece of brass is probably under so much stress that it's just going to keep cracking anywhere. So, going to remake this one, and to give this something nice to sit on, we're going to make a new base plate, and I'm going to make it out of granite, as you can see. I've already drilled and tapped these holes in here. Now we're going to cut a hole for the burner and then machine the edges here nice and true, and then make some kind of a ornamental divot on here, and that should finish that up.
All I seem to get is sales baloney. Facts are what I want, and only facts.
I gave you my line, you rose to my bait. Take heed to your fate, you can't escape from me. Just take my advice and keep acting nice, don't give me a fight. There's romance in sight, you can't escape from me.
Isn't it amazing how simple you can machine stone if only you've got the right tools?
Now, wait a minute. What did we decide about the baloney?
Leave the gun.
Take the baloney.
Well, I've cheated a little bit. This isn't actually stone. It's some sort of a plastic. It's called Korean. Don't know what it's actually made of, but they use it to make like windowsills and stuff. And well, I saw it used by some other model engineer and I really liked it and decided, you know what, this flame eater is just the project that needs such a base plate. And there we go. Call it lazy or call it resourceful. I'm just going to open up these soft solder joints and replace them with silver solder joints. They ought to last just fine. Plus, by getting this, you know, somewhere near glowing red hot, I think I can relieve all the internal stresses which might lead to future cracking. That's what a pure, contaminant-free, healthy flame looks like.
You know that I care, I'm walking on air. When stars soar above, I'm glowing with love, baby. I think you'll agree to my new decree. My arms are your jail. A kiss is your bail, you can't escape from me.
Right, well, as you can tell by all the tooling, it didn't take any preheating or pre-adjustments at all to get this thing back up and running. However, now I think I've got it pretty much dialed. Hopefully, if it isn't camera shy, it should run. Well, there you have it. Burner's just about empty. Yeah, that was fun. So it appears that the engine liked the remake as well. It runs far better than it did before. Did take some fiddling, I'll grant you that, but in the end I think this was well worth it. It looks a lot more presentable now, and you know, I think I didn't overdo it, preserved as much of the original as possible, and yeah, Found out that this might actually be a rather early of the Rebi production. Number one is you can see that the steel parts here are copper colored. I think they did that in preparation and eventually wanted to chrome plate this. And then this sheet metal contraption here, that was later on changed into a die cast piece as well. Little Rebi trivia there. Since that Craigslist rebuild was successful, I also decided to pay my homemade vacuum engine another visit. Off camera I have already revisited it, and I've put a thinner membrane here up front. Instead of being 0.25 millimeter, this is now 0.1 millimeter sheet, and my intentions were to reduce the back pressure on the return stroke once the vacuum is gone to overcome the spring tension here. I've also painted the flywheel black, and one of those two altercations made this thing run so fast now that through imbalance it's going to try walking over the table. So what I want to try now is machine counterweights onto the crankshaft. I don't know if it's going to do any good. If not, then at least it's going to look a little prettier, and it should be a nice job for the milling attachment on my lathe. Never change a running system. Not only did I now ruin this thing by, well, you clearly see what happened here, the tool grab, but also I broke the solder joint between the pin and this here, and now, well, that ain't gonna work, is it? Ah, shit!
Shining bright above you, night breezes seem to whisper, I love you.
Well, it looks like I lucked out here. I was able to redeem myself and resolder everything running true. Now, of course, the resistance of the piston is here, but trust me, this is running really smoothly in the bearings without binding up or anything. So that is great. I couldn't help myself and machined or filed a bit of a radius onto the bearing blocks. I think that makes it look a bit more dashy, sophisticated, whatever. And last not least, as a sort of, I don't know, attempt to say sorry to the machine, I built a pulley for it. I just knocked that out really quick from some brass I had lying around because, well, it's running fast enough and strong enough now that no doubt it's going to be powerful enough to drive some kind of accessory. Will machining away this amount of material from the crankshaft have made any difference on the smoothness or not? We shall find out now. If it didn't, then at least it made this thing look a dang lot cooler. I really like the appearance of, you know, the counterweights appearing and disappearing as the thing revolves around. You know, it's the little things. I found that these flame eaters start much more readily, and I can save a lot of spirits by just preheating them with butane. It will run on the butane flame as well if I put it onto the mouth, shall we say. But With the spirits burner it's a little bit more controlled and I don't have to hold it there all the time. Anyways guys, that shall be it for this video. Hope you enjoyed revisiting both these flame meters, and yeah, leave a like, leave a comment as always, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye!